If you ask kids in Brazil why they became footballers, 90% of them will give you the same answer: Neymar Jr. Everyone knows who Neymar is, but do they really know what he means to Brazil? Brazil's all-time top scorer, a 3-time World Cup player, the iconic number 10 of an entire generation. For millions of Brazilians, Neymar isn't just another footballer. He's the face of Brazilian football. Many still describe him as the prince who never became king. But can a prince miss the biggest stage in football? Or what if the crown has already been passed to a new prince? Does the old prince still have a place in the palace? After Brazil's heartbreaking exit from the 2022 World Cup, where they were knocked out by Croatia in the quarterfinals, almost everyone expected 2026 to be Neymar's tournament. The tournament where he would finally lead his country back to international glory. Instead, his career took a completely different direction. He moved to Saudi Arabia, but his time there never really got going. An ACL injury kept him sidelined for months. Many believed his career at the highest level was over. But Neymar refused to let that be the ending. Before long, he returned home to his childhood club, Santos. From that moment on, it became impossible to talk about the national team without mentioning Neymar. The mission was simple: regain his form, prove he still belonged at the highest level, and most importantly, earn his place back in the Brazilian national team, a place he hadn't held since his last call-up in 2023 while playing for Al Hilal. But repeated injuries and a lack of consistency never allowed him to build momentum. If performances weren't convincing anymore, what exactly kept Neymar's World Cup dream alive? Slowly but surely, he began to look less like the player capable of carrying Brazil to victories, and more like a legendary figure whose greatest moments already belonged to the past. Then, in 2025, everything changed. Carlo Ancelotti was officially appointed as Brazil's new head coach. One of the greatest managers football has ever seen, and a man famous for managing dressing rooms filled with superstars. The first test for the new coach came when the media tried to find out whether Neymar would return to the national team. He stood firm, repeatedly saying, "It depends on him, not on me." Then came the first real test, the first squad list. No Neymar. Ancelotti explained that he had spoken to him personally and wanted him to arrive at the World Cup in the best possible condition. And that answer never changed. Neymar would only return if he deserved it, not simply because he was Neymar. When the first squad was announced without him, the Brazilian media could barely talk about anything else. Every press conference led back to the same question, every interview, every headline. But Ancelotti never fueled the controversy. His answers remained exactly the same, very short, very cold, very diplomatic. Month after month went by, and the call-up never came. Things were about to get even worse. Unfortunately for the Brazilian superstar, 2026 began with yet another setback. Neymar was recovering from knee surgery, and by the time he returned in February, the race against the clock had already begun. He had lost precious time. He had drifted further away from the national team than ever before. Meanwhile, the media pressure on Ancelotti was huge because by now something strange was happening. Neymar wasn't getting called up, yet everyone was talking about him as if he'd already been.
Neymar, convocado Neymar.
Neymar está bien.
The reality was simple. Neymar struggled to find his form at Santos. He played very little. His numbers weren't spectacular, and there were few performances that truly reminded people of the player he once was. But Neymar is Neymar. His name alone was enough to dominate the conversation. Fans demanded to see their idol at one last World Cup. The internet simply couldn't imagine football's biggest tournament without him. The message was impossible to ignore. We want Neymar at the World Cup. Then came the moment that changed everything. Brazil's squad for the March international break was announced. Neymar listened. Name after name, one after another, but his never came. That was the moment when he, the media, and the entire country realized something they had refused to believe. The World Cup could actually happen without Neymar. Most players would have disappeared after that. So why did Neymar become an even bigger story? Millions watched the moment Neymar realized he hadn't been selected. But what most people didn't know was that the doubts had already reached him too. He even called Vinicius to ask whether he thought he still had a real chance of making the World Cup squad, as the Real Madrid player himself later revealed in an interview. Vinny's response was always the same. He told him to stay calm because he would definitely be called up. A star like Neymar wasn't used to feeling this uncertainty, but football moves fast, and legends don't stay untouchable forever. Even after months of pressure, Ancelotti's message remained exactly the same. Brazil's greatest active legend would only go to the World Cup if he was physically 100% ready. But did he keep his word in the end? Neymar kept working relentlessly, trying to reach the level that could earn him a place back in the squad. Every Neymar match was treated as a World Cup test. Whenever he scored or provided an assist, the headlines weren't about Santos's win, but rather, Neymar sends another message to Ancelotti. Exactly the kind of narrative that strengthened his case. Editorials, polls, hashtags, clips of his plays at Santos. At this point, one question remained. Was Brazil selecting its best players or protecting its biggest icon? Because despite his age, Neymar's talent and his presence alone give fans hope and provide the team with a technical leader. And eventually, Brazil erupted. Within minutes, every major sports page was talking about the same thing. TV shows opened with the news. Social media exploded. Neymar watched Ancelotti's press conference live. He waited for every name, one after another. They kept coming. Then,
Neymar Jr. Santos.
He heard his own. He couldn't hold back the tears. For the first time in almost 3 years, he was once again a Brazil player at a World Cup. Fans were eager to see their favorite player in action, but they would still have to wait. Not everyone agreed with Ancelotti's decision. Some believed he had been influenced by Neymar's legendary status, while others argued that his experience, leadership, and ability to inspire an entire team made the decision impossible to ignore.
Neymar is one of the big idol, our generation.
After months of fighting to get back, Neymar was finally where he wanted to be. Then, just before the tournament was about to begin, disaster struck once again. A calf injury ruled Neymar out of Brazil's opening 2 matches. After everything he had gone through, he was forced to watch from the sidelines, only coming on in the final minutes of Brazil's 3rd group stage match. And against Japan, 0 minutes. Was all this hype for nothing? Maybe. Maybe not. But one thing is certain. Neymar didn't make Brazil's World Cup squad the usual way. His recent performances alone probably weren't enough. His legacy, his influence, and everything he represented to Brazilian football became part of the conversation too. Maybe Brazil didn't just take a footballer to the World Cup. Maybe they brought the symbol of an entire generation.